Hey guys, this movie's a bit of a mind freak, but an excellent film. Here's why.
Hey guys, today we saw Keeper. It's about Liz and her boyfriend Malcolm who visit his remote cabin for their 1-year anniversary. But once they arrive, strange things start to happen, and Malcolm's odd behavior make her feel increasingly unsafe. The cabin seems to be connected to something dark in Malcolm's family history, and Liz begins to uncover unsettling clues that make the place and the people tied to it not what they appear to be. It released November 14th, 2025, and it was directed by Osgood Perkins. Recently he did Longlegs and The Monkey. Longlegs was really good.
Yeah, excellent movie.
The Monkey was okay. It stars Tatiana Maslany and Rossif Sutherland. He's the son of the late Donald Sutherland. The genre is horror. We watched it in theaters, and the runtime is 1 hour and 39 minutes. It's an independent film released by Neon. Story and pacing. The story was a bit confusing, but questions were answered later in the film. It definitely kept my interest from beginning to end because I wanted answers and was trying to figure out what was going on.
He was over there like writing down questions throughout the movie, like what is...
Never done that before. I'm like, what's with the cake? Why do they keep pushing the cake on the girl? Why are they so interested in this freaking cake? When you see the movie, you're going to be like, I get it. I get what's going on with the cake. Not everybody stayed interested, though. There was a guy in the back of the theater that fell asleep. And how do we know this? Because he was snoring the entire movie.
So loudly.
The movie was definitely a slow burn, which is exactly what I expected. When we used to have a longer template, I always wrote what we expected in the movie. I said I expected a slow horror movie, and it was definitely a slow burn. Characters and performance. Malcolm gets a little bit of a backstory, but really no characters get much of a history. Tatiana, the actress who played Liz, she played Fear really well.
Yep. I was really impressed with her acting in this movie. She did a really good job.
There's like a scene where he has to leave her in the cabin by herself, and she's like trembling her lip, and like a tear falls from her eye. And I was like, why is she, oh my gosh, she's scared. Like you just feel her fear. Visuals and style. The entire set is a cabin in the woods, and for about 15 seconds, a barn.
And a car. They drive in a car.
Yeah, in the woods to the cabin in the woods.
That's literally the only place it takes set in.
Yeah, so money definitely went to visual effects and a little bit of CGI. Visual effects are definitely my choice for visual effects. There's some CGI as well, but the visual effects were fantastic. So when it asked what my visual effect was, the visual effects in this film were awesome for the creatures. They were really good. They use a little bit of CGI, but it's not overly done. It's done really well.
I was really, really impressed with how they did horror in this.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I don't want you to ruin it.
I won't ruin it. But I'll just say with the visual effects and the horror, it was just impressive.
The visual effects for Malcolm later in the film was really good. They age him really well. Sound and music. Perfect sound for a horror movie. It plays a few songs on a record player, but there's one particular eerie song that's like prominent throughout the film, as well as the typical horror movie music that builds the perfect amount of fear and tension.
And I think that song that they played on the record player also was like intentionally played over and over again, and I think that it did really well on that as well.
Yeah. Emotional reactions that you feel. You feel tension, you feel some shock, you feel some fear, you feel some disgust.
Mainly with him. He was pretty disgusted.
Well, I mean, she does eat some disgustingness.
Yeah.
And some happiness at the end. Direction and writing. The storytelling was extremely creative and not really predictable until I think they wanted it to be predictable. Yeah. They give you a little bit of clues and you go, oh, you just start piecing things together. You don't go, I know what's going on. I mean, some of you might have. And if you did, you're freaking awesome. We didn't. And lately we're really trying to, we used to just go, we'll watch that one. We'll watch that one. Now we're just trying to watch all the movies. There's not anything in theaters other than probably like an anime that we haven't seen right now.
Yeah.
There's a scene There's a scene where... There's a scene where Liz ends up in the basement and meets some creatures, and it's really creative, and it makes you feel certain ways. It certainly warrants emotional reactions, some of which are disgust. I thought that was just awesome because I was like kind of turning my head a little bit and I was like, that's
I
what they
wasn't-
want you to do. And she was like, yeah,
I
give it
was
to
actually
me.
really impressed with that scene, with the makeup and with how the actors that played those parts,
Yeah.
and with the actress who played Liz. Like that whole scene itself, out of the whole movie, that scene impressed me the most. So
I thought she was not going to be into this film at all. I was looking forward to it because there's a lot of big names in horror like James Wan, Guillermo del Toro, that Bloody Disgusting said this was like one of the best horror movies. All of them talked about this movie like it was the greatest. And I was just like, wow, we got to see this.
I actually wasn't looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then she ended up liking it the most.
Yeah, leaving the theater after watching it, I was highly impressed.
It plays on stereotypical tropes that horror movies usually have, and then it messes with you. Like, it doesn't deliver on the usual that you're able to predict what happens. Like, it leaves you open and then it doesn't deliver. And it leaves the sound building and it doesn't deliver. And then you're just sitting there and one guy just walks in and goes, boo. And you're like, ah! I mean, you're just like, oh my gosh, the dude got me with a boo?
His yell probably just hurt y'all's ears.
Sorry. And probably, usually we'll turn that thing on back there. When you're not expecting it and it gives it to you, and then when you are expecting it and it doesn't give it to you, then you start to question, okay, when is it actually coming? Because when you're somebody who expects things in horror movies, they end up being lame.
Yeah.
So in this movie, we were like, okay, wait a minute, where's it coming from?
So the writer and the director, producer, all of them doing all of that, I think that's probably why I like this movie so much, because it was all very unexpected.
Yeah, we were watching a scene at one point, and then I was pointing out, I was like, and she goes, oh, because there was a creature in the background that just kind of developed, and we were like, where did that come from? I mean, we weren't expecting it, and we didn't see it. It didn't walk into the scene. It didn't appear there. It just was, I don't know how it got there.
I found this film to be not just like a normal horror movie. I found it to be very artistic in a way.
She's an artist.
And so, like, if you don't, you might have this in the notes, so I'm sorry.
I'm about to say it.
Okay, so you go ahead and then I'll say my part.
If you truly love horror movies and hate the same old horror movies because they aren't creative anymore, you'll love this. I'll go to the very part that you're talking about. If you want to watch a horror movie, you may not enjoy this one because it may be a bit weird to you. If you love film, you'll love this movie. If you love horror, you'll enjoy this movie.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
If you just like horror movies, you may also enjoy this movie, but it still may feel like an acid trip.
So that might be a little confusing with what he said. So like it's kind of not like your typical horror movie. I would definitely like recommend it to someone, yes, who loves horror, who loves film. But if it's somebody who's just like, I want to go see a movie, but I just kind of normally go see like an action movie or a Marvel movie, I wouldn't go see it. But it is a very good horror movie, but it's not your typical horror movie. It is very artistic.
Yeah, if you're somebody who goes to horror movies and you're like, I can always predict them and they're always lame.
It is not like that.
No, go to it.
Yes, highly recommend it.
Overall impact, one thing it did really well was be creative. One thing it could have done better is be less confusing, I guess, and less of a slow burn to get to the point, which is the freaking point.
But I think that's the point
I'm just
of it.
grasping at straws. I'm looking for a reason to find where it could have improved. I would compare Keeper to Cabin in the Woods, Hereditary, and The Witch. They all have
kind of the same element.
Yeah. Final thoughts. My favorite element was the ending. It was really good.
Very good.
My least favorite element, he has a cousin. I don't think his story was needed at all. I think you should have just saved the money, written him out. I mean, he wasn't needed at all. He added nothing to the film. His story wasn't needed. His character wasn't needed. If he just wasn't there, the film would have been exactly the same.
Yeah, they really could have done it with just the two characters, and it would have been literally the same storyline, and it would have been just as good.
Yeah. The budget of the film was $6 million, and at the end of the weekend, just looked it up. They've made $2.5 million so far.
I honestly, in my opinion, the reason maybe it didn't do as well is I think the trailer was a little confusing.
Yeah, marketing isn't great for independent films. I mean, that's just part of the budgeting. 2 recommendations.
With our recommendations, we say either see it in theater, rent it when it's available, or stream it. So this one's going to be a little bit confusing. If you're into horror movies, and this is something that you really want to see, I'm going to say see it in theaters. But if you aren't, and you're typical, like just you see normal movies, then I'm going to say rent it, because we do want you to see movies that are independently made.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 options, and I know we've really never done that before. So that's what I'm going to recommend.
Yeah. So, in love with horror movies, theater.
Yes.
Otherwise, rent this movie.
What we normally do with leaving a comment for us, I'm going to ask, what is your favorite independent film? What about you?
Mine is Good Will Hunting, and you're like, what? That was a huge movie. But it follows traditional rules for an independent film, even though it hit major success. It had a small budget, it had unknown writers, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck weren't known at the time, it had an indie director, and it was bought after it was made. And then it had major success.
So maybe look up your favorite film, and maybe you don't know it was actually an independent film.
Yeah, I had to look them up, and I was very surprised.
And for me, mine is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. It's an excellent film, and it actually got me into really enjoying Jason Statham. He's an excellent actor as well. And he actually looked up some really good details about that movie as well.
It was financed independently. It had no major studio backing, and it launched major careers, which is another indie hallmark. It introduced Jason Statham, Vinnie Jones, and Guy Ritchie. So it had no star power to rely on financially. Obviously, Good Will Hunting had freaking Robin Williams.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on our awesome couch. And remember, you guys matter to us. And we'll see you guys again on our next one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.